There's no taste. It's pretty much tastes like water. Yeah. Just waiting for a few more people. And we're doing it online as well. So we have people already waiting in the waiting room. So, yeah. So we're just waiting a few minutes. Thank you guys for coming in.
I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
As a matter of fact, we was going to stay over in Columbia last night. We had but she told me about it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. Thank you. We have some food afterwards if you guys want to eat before you get on the road. Something very light. It's just a bean salad, cucumber salad, and some pepper jelly and crackers. So,
Would you mind if I was streaming?
yeah, I mean, we're streaming it, but if you would like to, that's fine as well.
Also, if you get questions, if you like ask them say questions,
Mhm.
we can hear questions and ask them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just let me know whenever you're ready.
Oh, you're good.
We're good to start?
Yeah, all right, start.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're going to go ahead. I wanted to kind of have the cantos. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right, cool. Kind of wanted the cantos to be heard, but I don't know how loud it's going to be. So before we get started, I'd like everybody to close their eyes. I'm going to take a few deep breaths just to ground us. Deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Another deep breath in through your nose, allowing your stomach to open up. You should have a full belly when you breathe in, then exhale through your mouth. One more deep breath in through your nose and through your mouth. Roll your neck if you do. Just want to ground. We ask our ancestors, our benevolent ancestors, known and unknown, whose blood runs through our veins, to give us guidance, protection, and most of all, wisdom. We ask that they continue to speak to us, show themselves if needed, and continue to guide us, protect us. We ask that they speak to us in language that we understand and that we will know it's them. I'd like you to take one more deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Ndokiaya, Ashe, Aho, and so it is. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Can you guys hear me okay? You want to get on the ground? Yeah, that's beautiful. I actually, once we set the chairs out, I was like, we should have all been on the floor. Yeah. And if you guys need a pillow, just let me know. We have pillows in the back. Okay.
You got it right there. Thank you.
So my name is Barbara. My spiritual name is Ashastat. And I have been working in the plant medicine field for a few years, about 9 years now. What opened me up was rapé. And then through rapé, I experienced psilocybin, not as a drug, but as something to heal, right? And so along my journey, I was introduced to a shaman, went through the process, Ecology of Shamanism. And my shaman has an initiation process where you initiate into the medicine so that you can serve the medicine. So I am a shamanic practitioner of medicines, micro-ayahuasca, which you're drinking now, rapé, Kambo, psilocybin, Syrian root, mopacho, and I can facilitate ayahuasca ceremonies with my shaman. Okay, so if you would like to have a one-on-one or a group session, then I would have her travel here or we would travel to her. And so throughout this process, I had already been initiated into the medicine. And a friend of mine had said, do you want to go to the jungle? And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But sure, I'll go. Little did I know she was serious, right? And so there's an opportunity to go to the Yawanawa tribe in Brazil. And this is them actually singing. These are their cantos that they sing during ayahuasca. And so the trip basically was to go experience ayahuasca. I had already experienced ayahuasca before, already sat with all of the medicines that they were serving. So this was a way for me to go a little bit deeper and see how they actually serve the medicine in the jungle, in the Amazon, okay? And so got all my stuff together. It was basically sleeping bag, clothes, hammock, come as you are. So from beginning to end, it was, I'll go through my journey from beginning to end. It was 4 flights to get to Brazil, and then a 3-hour bus ride, and then a 7-hour boat ride into the Amazon. So we were deep in the jungle in the Amazon. And so 3 flights in, we got to Brazil. It was an overnight in Brazil before we got on the bus to actually head out to the Amazon. Once we got to the hotel, we kind of relaxed, of course, did our rapé. And then the next day we woke up bright and early, 6 o'clock in the morning, and got on the bus. Now, the boat ride, you know, you guys are thinking, oh, a boat ride. We were in a canoe.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yes. We were at 7 hours in a canoe.
That must have been a little unnerving.
Yes.
And you,
Yeah. So 5 people to a boat. Total, it was maybe about 20 people. I went with my group, which was me, my mentor, and my friend. We had a guide, and then everybody had their guide. And it was typically about 5 people per group for a total of maybe 15 or 20 people. Hi, greetings. How are you? I set out chairs, but
I'm gonna get on right down here.
and so we got on a bus with our luggage. The town that we went into is a very, very small town. So small that you can't even exchange money. So if you have American dollars, you're screwed, right? And that town is kind of the city for the Yawanawa, where they would travel down the river to maybe get their essentials like rice and corn and things of that nature. But everything else is pretty much, they live off of the land, okay? So a very, very bumpy ride to the port. Once we got to the port, we loaded our luggage. We basically went down a huge hill down into where they had the port at. And we got on a boat. It's literally a motorized canoe, motors that they actually put on the canoe. So it's not like when we think motorized. Yes, so it's a paddle with a little spinny thing on the end. And they're just steering it. So we loaded up. Obviously, we had gas. We stopped maybe about every hour, hour and a half. so that they could gas up. And not only was it 7 hours because we were going against the tide, right? It was probably about 8.5, almost 9 hours. So we're on the boat. Every stop, rapé. Got every stop. We are doing rapé. Are you guys familiar with rapé? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a friend of ours, that's he gave us
Mm-hmm.
one for 4 years.
Mhm.
It's like,
You're welcome. So every stop, it was pretty much rapé at every stop. Once we got into their village, they were waiting for us. They were all dressed up in their traditional gear, faces painted, and full of jewelry. This is one of the jewelry pieces that I actually got from the Amazon. And they wear their jewelry as protection, so it's not a fad. Every piece of jewelry that they wear is there for protection. Mm-hmm. Yes. Everything is made by hand and for protection. So the course of action was 3 ayahuasca ceremonies, 3 Kambo ceremonies, 2 baths, storytelling, and rapé all day. Rapé is bay. Okay? Bay. Rapé is bay. Yes. 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 So, and afterwards, if you want to go on my Facebook page, all the pictures are there, all the videos, everything. So there's really no time to rest, talk about it. That's not what they do. You're here for the medicine. You're going to get the medicine. Okay? So he actually co-mingled this with his son's birthday. So it was his son's 20th birthday. So there was a big celebration at the end. And so we got there. Don't ask me what day because I don't remember. But I'm going to say we got there on a Monday. Okay, we got there Monday. We had our dinner. And dinner is everything from the land. They do a lot of root vegetables. So yucca, tapioca, sweet potatoes, rice, beans. I don't eat meat, but typically they would have some sort of meat, armadillo, monkey, and frog, and fish, and fish. Fish was almost every meal. So we had our dinner, and anybody familiar with Kambo? So Kambo is the, people say it's the venom or the poison. It is not a poison. It is actually the sweat or from the frog. So it's the secretion or the sweat from the Philomedusa tree frog. Okay? They typically do Kambo at sunrise. Yeah. So we got there on a Monday. We ate dinner. We went to bed. Sunrise. Yes. At sunrise, we were on the bank of the river. At the bank of the river, typically when you do Kambo, like if I serve you guys Kambo, I'm getting it off a stick. Okay? They had the frog. So straight from the frog. So they literally milked the frog there, scraped it off, did our burns, and so we did 3 ports. They call them ports or gates or dots. So we did 3 dots every day. Well, every other day. So it was a total of 3 Kambo sessions. And so obviously I have more back here. I did these myself because I self-administer. I have them all up and down my arms. Some call them ports depending on the lineage and what shaman you go to or facilitator practitioner.
I only ask because I had seen a quick meme that someone was saying about flying in an airplane, you know, like an airport and a passport, saying they felt like they were going through portals sometimes when they fly. And I was just thinking about the trip itself.
So Cambo is not a psychedelic. It is not a psychedelic, so you won't go on a journey. However, it is very, very healing, right? It is a deep lymphatic cleanse. And if you do it enough, yes, you can feel like it is a very spiritual journey where you do go through portals. It really, honestly, it depends on the practitioner and your tolerance. It depends on a lot of things, where you're at in your healing process, things of that nature, of how Cambo will affect you. So they went ahead, they did the Cambo, gave us our pores. Women got them on their ankles, men got them on their arms. At this point, everybody is throwing up or shitting, one of the two. So now the purge begins, right? So we're on the bank of the river, throwing up and shitting. Okay? It's not pretty, because if I'm your practitioner, I have a bathroom, you know, I have a bucket. No. So you're literally
Just
out there,
out there.
out there, out there. You're looking around, it's nothing but jungle.
Only time I did military when I was in the Marine Corps, you know, being out there, but not. We still had base a few clicks away.
We're 7 hours into the jungle.
And so when you were done, you like just cleaned in the river.
What's that?
When you were done, you just went to the river. And just
Yes.
cleaned.
Yeah. So we cleaned up in the river, washed in the river. And then we had lunch, we rested. 9 o'clock that night, ayahuasca. So the first night, the first ceremony, we had members from another village come. And so it was maybe about 30 people. The chief, he invited other pages. In Brazil, they're called pages, not shamans. So there are other pages there. And they had 2 ayahuascas, 1 strong, 1 weak. Well, I shouldn't.
I mean, like, what was that?
When?
Like, just being around.
So the energy was very, very high, and I'll get into that once I go into our first cup of ayahuasca. But the energy was high. Obviously, they don't speak English, so we had a translator. So energy very, very high, and I'm gonna play but pause this, because this is when I go into the ayahuasca ceremony. But 9 o'clock came, and we were there to take our first cut. We're outside, obviously, kind of like in a field, nothing but dirt. There are some benches kind of surrounding. It's what they would consider their temple. And ayahuasca is actually growing on the tree, so you're in the energy of the ayahuasca, right? The Samomama tree is back in the forest, and when he begins, he does his rapé, and he starts to pray. The translator is telling us, if you feel the pull or the urge and the forest is calling you, do not go, right? Because the forest speaks to you when you're in the medicine. So do not go, because we are in the jungle, okay? So he does his prayer. We take our first cup of ayahuasca. They have the strong and the weak. The strong is thicker, it's darker. The weak is more concentrated with water. Because my mentor trained me as a warrior, I went straight for the strong. So the cups are maybe about this big. They fill them to the top. And then if you go get seconds, they give you a smaller cup, okay? The ceremony lasts from 9 at night till 6 in the morning. Mind you, we're coming off of Cambo, right? Typically, Cambo, it crosses the blood-brain barrier. So when you go into ayahuasca, it's even more intense. You're wide open, absolutely. So took the first cup. And again, I've already sat with ayahuasca. Take the first cup. After you take the first cup, what they do is they sing cantos. Cantos are what brings spirit in, right? If you know anything about ayahuasca, it is a very spiritual medicine, right? And so they start singing cantos. We get in a circle, we stand up, we get into a circle. Well, after you take the cup, you sit for maybe about 15 minutes. You get up, you grab hands, and you rotate in a circle. You just walk in a circle while the medicine is starting to work. This is what they're singing.
Tau tapuna masum, 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 tau tapuna masum. Viva Kawaneke, viva Kawaneke, viva Kawaneke, viva Kawaneke, viva Kankasare, viva Kankasare, viva Kankasare.
So that's what they're chanting as we're in the circle, right? Ayahuasca is one of those medicines that after you take it, you may feel a little bit sick. It starts to work in your stomach, right? Because your serotonin levels are rising when you're taking medicine. You feel very ill because your body really can't handle all of that serotonin because this is DMT, right? It's a psychedelic. So you start to feel very sick. You start seeing people come out of the circle, go purge. You're in your process because once you purge, you take off. You're gone. You're in another time zone, okay, another realm, another reality. Mind you, I have sat with ayahuasca, okay? I was initiated prior to this. I have sat and I've taken 3 cups in one sitting, 2 cups, along with the medicines of psilocybin, Kambo, all at the same time. However, because the energy is high, we're in the jungle, right? It's fresh ayahuasca. I purge, I sit down, my head goes back, my mouth is open, my arms are down, my legs are down, and because you have to move that energy. You don't move the energy, it can be very overwhelming, right? So while I was in the medicine, I'm seeing geometrical visions. Again, I've sat with the medicine before, very intense, but I am seeing things that I can't even comprehend, right? And so I start seeing clowns. Clowns. Monkeys on tricycles. It's women walking on a tightrope. I'm in an entire circus. I'm in a circus. And I look up and I'm in a circus tent, but when I look up, there's no roof. It's just stars. But I see the stars. However, I see all these vines and jungle, trees and things, but I can see through them. Even though it's covered with these vines, I can see the stars bright as day. And so now I'm asking myself, what is going on? Because ayahuasca is one of those medicines that you talk to her, she talks to you. And so I'm like, what's going on? Like, slow this down because it's a little too much. When you open your eyes, you can kind of interrupt your journey, your process. And I'm only speaking for me. If you were to do it, you might open your eyes and still be in, I don't know. But for me, that's how it works. If I open my eyes and I shake myself, I come back. So I come back. And honestly, I'm very afraid to go back in this process because I don't understand the correlation of the circus, right? And I'm going to go in and out of my experience just so you guys can kind of understand. And so I don't know why I'm in this circus. I don't know what's going on. So I go back into my process. Again, here I am in this circus, seeing women on tightrope, seeing elephants and monkeys and people jumping and doing things that they do in the circus. The big, the monkey and, things coming out of a box and clowns popping out of me. And I'm like, holy shit, what is going on? So wake myself up again, like, all right, let me get my shit together. Because again, I'm trained in the medicine. We're trained to sit, to really understand and see how the medicine is working within, right? But I can't do that right now because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is this circus, okay? And so this was a very interesting part to me because everything starts with us, right? And when I say starts with us, I say what I mean is melanated people. I turn around because not only am I waking myself up out of the process, and waking up is probably not a good word, I am kind of shaking myself out of the process so I can kind of be aware of what's going on around me. And the people behind me, they're making animal noises. So they're chirping like birds, they're roaring like lions, and it's a lot going on. And so they're kind of interrupting my process because I'm trying to study. I turn around and the guy says, "Are you Egyptian?" They're Caucasian. Why are you seeing Egyptians? Right? Why are you seeing Egyptians? Right. And I said, "No, I'm not Egyptian." And he said, "Well, are you real?" And I said, "Yes, I'm very real." So I go back in my process. Once again, we are in the circus, and I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with the circus. Now, in my other ayahuasca journeys, in my other ceremonies, my grandmother always comes to me. My grandmother is always signified by a cat. She loved cats, white, fluffy cats. And whenever I would feel very intense in my journey, she would come, but she would come as a cat. And so I'm saying to myself, take me out of this process because I don't know what's going on. And why am I in a circus? So I just start seeing all these cats surround me, white fluffy cats. They're in my lap, they're on my shoulders, they're in my head, and I feel very comforted. Now, fast forward, I'm talking to my mom, and I'm getting chills. Talking to my mom, and I'm telling her about the experience because I'm still trying to figure out this circus thing. And her eyes, my mom's eyes get this big. And she says, "Your great grandmother and great grandfather were traveling circus people." And I'm like, "Are you shitting me?" She's like, "Yeah." She said, "As a matter," I hadn't even told her about the tightrope. She said, "As a matter of fact, your great grandmother was the woman on the tightrope." So now I understand the circus. My ancestors were coming. They were there. They were there. They were guiding me. They were protecting me, right? So back into my process. I'm in my process and I start, I lay down because it's getting very intense. I lay down because remember, I'm in a chair. And so I'm trying to shake, move the energy. And the shaking is really uncontrollable. You can't stop it, but your body knows to move this energy. And so it's unstoppable. My knees are shaking, my arms are shaking. I lay down, can't lay down because it's too much. So I get up, I walk over to the fire, I sit down in front of the fire, and I'm seeing visions coming out of the fire, right? No real rhyme or reason. I'm just seeing things come out of the fire. And so at this point, I'm like, we gotta be here at 6 a.m. It's midnight. I'm tired. I want to go sleep. What are we doing? So my mentor, of course, she's there, and she trains us as warriors. She's like, "Hey, go get your second cup." I went to the weak one. I went to the weak one because I'm like, I can't do it. So took the second cup of the weak one. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, that was our second ceremony. She didn't even know we could go get our second cup. So she had already gotten hers, and I had went up and got mine too, but I went to the weak one. I don't know which one she took. She probably took the strong one. So for the rest of the night, we're kind of in front of the fire. People are really, really tripping. Now, mind you, they're bringing energy from different tribes, different villages, and the energy is chaotic, very chaotic. People are everywhere. They're dancing, they're jumping, they're just doing a lot of stuff. And again, because I'm trained in the medicine, we are trained to sit, lay down, and just experience the medicine. All this other stuff that's going on, no. So they're still singing cantos throughout this whole process from 9 to 6 in the morning. The women and the men are singing the entire time. They are in the medicine as well. The music is starting to vibrate through my entire body to the point where their singing is so vibrational, I could literally see angels. That's how intense. I mean, to the very last it was vibrating in my bones, right? Beautiful music, beautiful music. So that's really all I can remember from the first ceremony. As the ceremonies go on, they get more intense. And so I remember that morning, we, at 6 in the morning, we go have our breakfast, and then we go rest, and that's when we had our first bath. They did a spiritual bath. They gathered all the herbs and put them in a big vat. And we had our spiritual bath, very cold water. They pretty much dump the leaves on your head, wash your skin with it. We seen parts of the forest. We sat with the Samomama tree. And in between all of this, Rapé, right? Because Rapé is Bay. So we're doing Rapé in between all of this. And then we lay down at dawn, Kambo. Kambo again. So second Kambo ceremony, we walk back down, we go down, we get our Kambo. They do our ports, our dots. And typically when you have Kambo, you are given water to kind of help the purge. They don't give you water, they give you like a cassava water. So they take cassava and they grind it up into a powder and they mix it with water. And so you have to drink 5 cups of that straight back to back, guzzle. And then they do the ports. When I do the ports, I take a tissue, I kind of wipe the first layer of burnt skin off. They take a vine, they light it. So it has like an incense, right? So I do it with incense. In the jungle, they don't do it with incense. They do it with a vine, they light it, and then they literally burn you. The first layer, they remove, and that's where the medicine goes in. Well, they don't use tissue, they don't use water, they burn you and they just snatch your skin off. Okay. We jungle style. This is how they do it. So they rip your skin off, and then they go ahead, medicine, and again, we're all lined up, purging, vomiting, poop, whatever, getting the water, rinse off, have our breakfast, have our breakfast, we have our lunch, 9 o'clock that night, ayahuasca. So this time I came prepared. I took my sleeping bag mat with me. Okay. So this time they have just pretty much strong ayahuasca. They don't really have, it's the thick one, it's not the thin one, it's not concentrated. And so we're in a smaller temple and there are no other villages with us. It's just the group that came. The energy was a little bit more calm, a little bit more serene. Most of the people had already sat with ayahuasca. And so the energy was very, much more spiritual. And so we have our first cup of ayahuasca. I lay down, and when I lay down, well, obviously I purge, I take off. This time when I'm purging, my cousin, he had a tragic death, maybe about, if that. In fact, this October will actually be 2 years. And I'm vomiting, and I'm saying to myself, like, yo, I'm dying. Like, I'm literally about to, like, this is it for me, because the medicine is starting to kick in, and I'm like going into another realm. And so I'm like, yo, I'm probably not gonna make it out of this one. And so my cousin shows up, and he's this close, and he says, "Are you scared?" I said, "Yeah, I'm scared." He said, "Don't worry, I got you." Now, because I'm in the medicine, I thought he was saying that to me, that he was scared, because he had just transitioned a year ago. So I'm thinking he's scared, but no. After I sat with it, he was asking me, and I was telling him I was afraid. He was telling me that he was there to help me. And he helped me back into my chair. So I got back in my chair, I lay down, and when I lay down, ayahuasca starts telling me how we were the first people here, how we were created. We came from the water. We came from space, if you will, into the water. And so I literally saw us in the water, women with babies, women pregnant, underwater, not on the water, but in the water. And ayahuasca showed me how our lungs would expand to stay underwater for long periods of time, not minutes, but hours. And we evolved from the water. We weren't mermaids, and maybe we were, but I just, in my, what ayahuasca told me, we had legs. They weren't like what we have now, because obviously we had to have buoyancy and things of that nature. And so it showed me how we evolved from the water. She told me that we created currency. Without us, there would be no currency today. So we created currency. We created exchange. And without us, there would be none of that. And so we're hearing the cantos. I don't understand what they're saying. And so now I'm asking ayahuasca questions, because I'm like, oh, I want to know now. Like, I'm ready. And so I start asking questions, and she's like giving me information. And I'm like, hey, slow down. I can't take this. I can't take it all. But a lot of the key points that she gave me was basically, and I hate to say key points, because for me, this is actual knowledge. This is real shit, right? So we created currency. We were definitely here first. Everybody else was created, but we are actually here. We were not created. We were here. She showed me how we came from the water and how we have evolved. And so my question was to her, if we evolved, like, why do we have all of this turmoil and things of that nature? Like, you know, why did you allow us to evolve? Why couldn't we have just stayed like this? Like, this is beautiful. And she said, like everything else, it had to evolve. Like, I gave you the knowledge and the awareness to evolve. What you do from there is on you, right? But I have given you this gift to evolve. So that's what you should be doing. And so as I'm expanding and I'm seeing and I'm hearing and I'm feeling, she showed me in my mother's womb. And so I don't know if you guys have ever seen, what's that with the Matrix? You guys have seen the Matrix? And so that one scene where Neo is in that pod and he has all of those things hooked to him. That's how I was in my mother's womb. That's how I was. And I could see her literally giving me knowledge, giving me everything that I need within that womb. And when I came out of my process, how am I here? But I was in the fetal position because I'm getting this knowledge. Like I'm literally being rebirthed, and ayahuasca is doing that, right? Because ayahuasca is giving me information that I don't, right? That I don't have. I don't know these things, right? And so I'm hearing them with the music chanting. They're doing all of the music, they're chanting and all of these things. And so I'm like, I don't understand them. And so ayahuasca's like, well, you don't need. And I'm like, okay, but like I really want to know what they're saying. And she's like, don't worry about that. We all have our different languages. So I'm like, okay. By that time, I'm kind of, out of my process, still feeling the medicine. And I look behind me, and there is these two people sitting there. Now, obviously, there were people in the group, but one of them was a man with a stick, a black man with a stick. He had on African garb. Well, he had on white, but the hat was like an African garb or whatever. And then a woman sitting next to him, all in white with a head wrap on, and they're having this conversation. And I look, and it's basically like, two elders. I turn back this way. I'm looking at the fire. A friend of mine who was not there was there dancing in front of the fire, right? She's an astrologist, and so she's dancing in front of the fire. She ain't there, y'all, but she there. So my father shows up. My father is not deceased, but he shows up and he's like, hey, baby, I just want to make sure you're okay. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, I'm fine. My mom comes. She's like, you good? I'm like, I'm good. My mom is not deceased, but they were there. And so I turn to my mentor and I grab her hand. And later she told me that I channeled her mother. I don't remember that, but I grabbed her hand, and all I can remember hearing is her saying, why are you grabbing my hand? And I said, hurry up before she leaves. And then I channeled her mother. Now I turn back to the two elders that were sitting there, and it was just two regular people. It wasn't even two elders. It's just regular people, So, and I'm still kind of like processing a lot still. So these are just things that I remember. So I get up. Of course, my mentor's like, hey, time for the second cup. So I go get my second cup. We lay down next to the fire. There's a guy laying there in front of the fire. And he's just laying there, and he's gone, and he's saying he's chanting. And I mean, he's just gone. Another lady, she's digging in the dirt, like she's in a cave or a tomb trying to get out, and she's like screaming. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? Right. So, and it's interesting because you can see everybody in their process. They're in their own process, seeing their own stuff, going through their own things, whether it's trauma, whether it's their ancestors, like they're going through their own stuff. And for you to actually be able to witness it as a practitioner, right? Because I see clients all the time go through their process, but this was on a different scale, and you're watching them go through their process, and they're singing, and they're doing all of these beautiful things. And so I go back into my process because now I've had my second cup, and again, we're on the water. Now we have built ships, and these ships are big and they're beautiful, and I could see just ancestors hanging on the top of the ships, and the ship was a big bird. Like it was a boat down the bottom, but what we would call the sail was made out of wood, and it was carved. They were carving this big, beautiful bird, and it was colorful. It had all the colors in it. and it was so beautiful. And they're climbing the boat and they're showing me how we lived on the land, how we bartered, and all of these things. And then it shows me the Dakinga. So if anybody knows anything about the Dakinga, does anybody know about the Dakinga? The Dakinga? Can you explain it really quick?
The Dakinga is basically things like this from Black Boy from the Congo tradition, right? So you may hear called Yowa as well too, but the Dakinga is the phases of your life, right? So you got conception, you have birth, you have maturity, and then you have elderhood or transition or transformation. Phases. They represent. I gotta say it all over.
Yes.
Bubba Clyde. All
I need,
right, so
I need a rest, so this is
okay.
perfect.
Hold on, I just do it right there. The King of so the King of DR Congo or DikeNga. So the King of DR Congo. So the King of DR Congo is again is a Congo. It's a Congo cosmology, right, or African cosmology that represents the phases of life cycles. All right, so it obviously will start from conception to birth, from birth to maturity, from maturity to elderhood or transition, or more so transformation. There's no real death, right? So those are the phases, and it goes just like how the sun goes through its phases. All right, so it's in a basic way. That's what it is. In order not to go so crazy deep, because it can keep going. Everything is in the kingdom, right? But that's the basis of that. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, yeah.
And so the Dakinga, like Kat was saying, is the phases of life. And so I see the actual Yawa, the Dakinga, the cross, right, with the circle around it, the times, the phases, like I'm seeing all of this. And a voice says, if you follow the Dakinga, that's all you'll ever need. Just follow the Dakinga. The Dakinga is everything. Everything is a Dakinga because everything has its own process of life. And so you are in life. And just follow the Dakinga. And if you follow the Dakinga, you'll have everything that you need. You know, just follow it. So by this time, it's probably like 6 in the morning, and we go have breakfast. We have our second bath, which is a clay bath where they just load you down with clay. And, you know, in between there, rapé. In between all of that, we're doing rapé. And so we get our bath, we go to the river, we wash the bath off, we have our dinner, dinner. They have some storytelling. On this particular day, we went deeper into the jungle, and we had what they call sanaga. It's an eye drop, and sanaga is used for hunting purposes. It's an eye drop that goes in your eye, it stings, and then it helps with vision. So it, particularly night vision, so when they go out and hunt, they can actually see. Yeah, so it's so they can see at night, right? It almost gives them night vision. So, and they do it all the time, so they consistently have this type of vision when they go out and hunt in the dark. So there's 2 different kinds, and we got it from a leaf. So they take the leaf, they break it, and then they just drop it into your eye. Stings like hell, and again, fresh, not in the little bottle that I carry. And, you know, although my medicines are from the jungle, they're not fresh, right? They're not, you know what I mean? They're still very intense. They're still very strong, you know, but we're getting it like raped there.
To say that it's not fresh, it still stink like hell.
So I can say that it stung more, but it lasted, I mean, to the point where my eye was jumping, like flinching. And it stung a lot more. Wasn't as intense, but it stung more and it lasted longer, a lot longer. And the eye is kind of like, but it was just the bottom like jumping. So we did that. We had some storytelling, and again, we were at the Samomama tree. The Samomama tree is the highest tree in the Amazon, and that's where they believe that all of their spirits are held and contained. And so they go and do rapé under the tree. They do ayahuasca under the tree, and they have visions, and that tree gives them things that they need, right? Because they've built a whole village. They're not in society, so everything that they have built and created came from ayahuasca. And so they do dietas. One of the pages is a woman. There's only one woman page in the entire village, and she doesn't even live in that village. She lives in another village. And actually, out of all of the villagers, there's only one page woman. And what she went on a year dieta. So for a year, all she did was rapé, ayahuasca, and Kambo for an entire year. And what happens is once you reach that status and you go on that diet or dieta for that entire year, they have a frog. I can't remember the name of the frog, and they have a snake. And so once you're done with that year, you eat the heart of that snake and you eat that frog, and that gives you more spiritual wisdom. And so she came to our third ayahuasca ceremony, and she sang and danced and things of that nature. And throughout the ayahuasca ceremony, they're passing rapé while we're in the medicine. So they're passing rapé. So we have our bath, our clay bath.
See, I like it. The niggas die.
So there were quite a few people that by day 2, they were like, yeah, I'm done with Kambo. I'm not doing no more Kambo. Who were only taking half cups of ayahuasca because they were like, I'm good. But that ain't how my mentor raised me. So we doing all the cups. We doing all the Kambos. We doing all the rapé. So we have our clay bath. We have our lunch, our dinner. And then that morning, sunrise, back at Kambo. And when you do Kambo, your face swells up and you look like a frog. So we're all on the riverbank. Yeah, we're all on the riverbank. We all look like frogs. We've all thrown up. We've all shitted ourselves. You know what I mean? So we're heading into the last Kambo session. And that Kambo session, I actually, he did my 2 dots, and he went to do a third. I was like, 2. And he was like, 2. I said, yeah. I said, I'm Kambo'd up. 2. And that 2 was more intense than the 3 I had gotten the days before. Because what he did when he saw that I only had 2 dots, the page came over and he said 2. I said yes, and he took more of the secretion and then just rubbed it. And I said, there's already Kambo on there. Now, mind you, he don't speak English. And I said, Kambo, yes, already. And he took his thumb. Mind you, we're in the jungle. I put Kambo on with my nice little knife, and I put it on the dot. Nah, nail. He screaming with his nail. I'm like, I just saw you scratch your ass and dig your nose, and you just gonna put this on me? We in the jungle. We doing it jungle style. Okay. So he puts more Kambo on those 2 dots. So that one was actually more intense. Yeah. So we have our lunch. We have our dinner. 9 o'clock at night. This is the last ceremony, ayahuasca. Mind you, this is the son's birthday. So 9 to 6 in the morning. That morning after ayahuasca, they made an alcoholic drink from cassava. They just basically fermented the cassava, and then we partied till about 6 that evening. So yeah. So that the third ceremony, ayahuasca night, we go back into ceremony, and again, music. These are the cantos that they're singing, right? So I take my ayahuasca, I lay down, get ready for my purge. I purge, boom, I'm taking off. I'm laying down. They're singing. This was the most intense ceremony for me. They're singing, well, initiation. I had a very, very intense, but this is very close to it. So they're singing. Music is vibrating through my entire body, but I don't hear them. I'm hearing, I'm hearing African drums, and I'm laying on the ground, and the vibration of what I'm hearing, I'm laying there, and about every maybe 5 seconds, it's like, doosh, the entire ground just shakes, and my body's like, doosh. Mind you, I'm in my process. I'm seeing the ships again, right? I'm asking questions about the language because I'm really intrigued. Like, yo, I want to hear what they're saying. So, like, you know what I'm saying? And so I asked ayahuasca, do you understand what they're saying? And ayahuasca says, no. And I said, well, if we're created, like, and you know all, like, why you don't understand what they're saying? And she says to me, I don't understand conversations that you have amongst your people. Y'all are small to me. But when you come to me, whatever tongue you speak, I understand. And I'm just like, you know, like I'm floored by this, because he's not, or she, whoever you call your power, whatever, they're not interested in what we got to say to each other. They're only interested in what you got to say. And I take that as me, because I'm God. I'm only interested in what I got to say. I'm not interested in what y'all got. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm seeing the boats, I'm hearing the drums, and the ground is just vibrating. Doosh, doosh, doosh. I'm seeing angels. I'm seeing all kinds of beautiful things. The birds. We didn't really see any animals, but when you're in ayahuasca, the animals are there. So you're seeing all of the animals, and I'm laying down, and I must have looked crazy, like the girl digging in the dirt, because I'm laying down and I see something coming up towards me, and I flipped out. I jump up, I'm shaking my stuff off and all kinds of stuff, and everybody just like, so I'm like, I'm looking like the lady that's clawing the dirt, right? But this last one was the most beautiful experience, because I was able to really tap in and have these conversations with ayahuasca, with this spirit, right? They call ayahuasca the vine of the dead, the strict grandmother, the mother, vine of the soul. So you're really talking to yourself, right? You're really having a conversation with your higher self, and you're getting this knowledge because we're remembering, right? We are remembering. This is not something that's new. And so as I'm remembering, I'm being shown everything that I'm remembering. That's all I could say. You know what I mean? I'm not being shown anything new that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing new under the sun, right? We just forgot. You know, and so that was probably one of the most intense outside of my initiation. That third ceremony was probably the most intense. And had I not had the training and not really studied the medicine, I would have gone out of these 3 ayahuasca ceremonies and come back and probably lived in a cave. Like, I would have been fucked up, honestly. You know what I mean? But I had the training and I understand what the medicine does. Obviously, that's all I really remember from my ceremony. Obviously, it's more to come, right? From my first ceremony, I can say that when I was in the medicine, we had already taken ayahuasca, and then after we took our first cup of ayahuasca, we got a dodecambo after the first cup of ayahuasca. And when the dodecambo went on, I saw all these black and white checkerboard. And if you look up black and white checkerboards, it's actually a spiritual meaning. I didn't know this. And so the checkerboard kept flipping, black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white. And I didn't understand it then. And when I came back from my initiation, like I had started, painting my wall black and white. And I had a client and I was telling her about this, and her mouth dropped and she was like, and I'm like, what? Like, you okay? Like, you know what I mean? And she was like, your wall, you just painted it. And I was like, holy shit. I'm painting what I saw, but not comprehending that that's what it was, So it was a very beautiful experience. It was very tribal, very, very tribal, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Even though, like, within the village, they had built things for us because they know we're coming, like they had built a little box and with a little toilet seat or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It was very primal, very, very rustic. We didn't have any of the means that we have here. So when my friend said, you want to go to the jungle, she really meant, like, do you want to go to the jungle? Yeah, yes, very, very, very disconnected. And because of that, coming back into this, because when I came back, like, shit was happening. My kids, they had lost their fucking minds. Like, you know what I'm saying? Things was just going crazy. And I called my mentor. I was like, bruh, yo, I'm about to pack my shit. Mind you, she tells a story that after her ayahuasca ceremonies, like, she quit her job, you know what I mean? Like, she was Ubering, moved to the DR. She ain't been back, And so I was like, yo, I'm about to be on that mountain with you because I don't know what they doing here. So it was very, coming from that back into this, it was a lot. However, the knowledge that you get, the clarity and the expansion, right? The expansion. I came back and I was like, yo, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like, I built a whole course, you know what I'm saying? Because people need to know, like, we are gods, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't take this lightly, you know what I'm saying? We're here for a reason. And so even though, like, in ayahuasca, I was told, yeah, we evolve, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I made you for. Like, you had the opportunity. I have given you this gift to evolve. So every chance you get, like, expand. You know what I mean? You have to expand. And it's only going to bring you back into remembrance of who you are. Because at the bare bones base minimum, right? We are it. We are it. So, like I said, that's kind of all I can remember. If I remember more, maybe I'll do a second, one, but that's all I remember. I get downloads every day of why, I seen this. Oh, that makes sense. You know what I mean? But the circus really blew my mind. That really, really blew my mind. It really blew my mind because I had no idea that that's what my family did. You know what I mean? Like, yo, we ran a whole circus and I had no idea. And I'm in ayahuasca wondering why I'm looking at a monkey on a tricycle. Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? So it was just very, very enlightening, and seeing friends show up in ayahuasca that weren't there, but I'm literally seeing them and being able to channel something I had never done before, and then not even knowing or remembering about it. And she's telling me, and I'm like, what, girl, I said that, it has been a very, very beautiful journey, and the crying, the shitting, the burping, the throwing up, like all of that is nothing compared to what I have experienced. And you don't see people like us doing the medicine and experiencing these things. You know what I mean? And so to be able to say like, hey, this is what I've done. And honestly, the journey is just beginning for me. It is just beginning, you know? So how do y'all feel?
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Did y'all feel the micro? Yes.
Yeah, a little. I felt a little. You know, it was just.
It mellows you, but at the same it's like a sustain your energy. Like,
Yeah.
I feel it feels balanced, and then I know I picked up on your energy of what you was experiencing there.
Mhm.
How I see
Yeah,
it.
I guess it did.
I could feel that.
Say it made it more visceral hearing the story.
I felt when it kicked that. Roll this cup round a little bit. Yeah. Came in.
It's a couple moments that you expressed. It being doing DMT, and I've done DMT once before, and similar things kind of happen when you smoke it. Pretty much,
Yeah.
literally you're dying at that point.
Yeah.
But it's things that you mentioned, like seeing, that I can sort of say I feel like within that short span of time, I can relate to like not space, but like vacuum, where it's like water. Like for me, it was like seeing I wouldn't say Shiva or like it's just this multi-headed woman
Mhm.
with like you said, pregnant. It was like birthing babies consistently. It was just like putting. It's just like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it so much. But it was
Yeah,
like,
you get stuck because it's very hard to explain. Like I'm here,
right.
but for someone who hasn't sat with the medicine, it's kind of like, yo, what you talking about? You know,
Right.
so you can't find the words to express it.
But yeah, that's so when you said that, it was like, oh snap, that sounds. And then I pieced together that you said ayahuasca is pretty much DMT, but it's just
Yeah,
it's not concentrated. It's not the crystallized version.
right.
So
So what you had, like when you smoke it, you're gone immediately.
Yeah.
With ayahuasca, it takes some time to travel through your system, but your journey was probably like
short,
20
yeah,
minutes.
Yeah, it was even somewhat.
I mean, I watched it, you know.
Yeah,
And you was like, and then he was back. And then
Yeah,
it was
literally,
like,
you smoke it and you hit the ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what
It
I'm
was just like,
saying?
oh my god! And then it was just like it was like relaxing. It was as if time like stopped, where it was like slowing to you, and then it's like you said, this check up like this grid of black and white. It's like either going in different like geometric patterns, or
Mhm.
like it's just there. And
Yeah.
then like I said, then you just kind of come back,
Yeah.
kind of like coming back to life, if you will.
Yeah. Mine was just flipping in a big square, and it was just flipping, and then it turned into a snake.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. It's like a dragon.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy that it is the realm. It's a certain space in pocket where that exists in. Similar to like taking psilocybins and seeing like the turtle shell hexagon in the sky type thing. So it's like it's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, I just as I'm listening, I'm like, oh snap! I know exactly this experience. A small portion of it, not like none of that. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah,
I
ayahuasca is hours. It is
Okay.
hours.
And
So like I
okay.
said, 9 to 6, and at 6 when we're done, you still
Feel-
feel the medicine. So you feel her in you. You may not be having these psychedelic moments, but you still feel the medicine. And you can take as many cups as you want. You know what I mean? As much as you can handle. So my first ceremony, I did 2 cups. The second one, I did 2 cups, and the third one, I did 2.5.
So basically, there's no toxicity level of now. Okay.
But
It's
you'll
your
know
own-
after so many cups, you'll be like, all right, I ain't taking no
Yeah.
more. Like, you won't want any more. You won't want any more.
Like your body got a hold of it.
Yeah.
to-
And that's why your
so-
body automatically knows
Yeah.
because the shaking is uncontrollable. You cannot stop it. And your body already knows I have to move this
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
And you will shift from one, I'm going to say scene.
Mhm.
You will shift from one scene to another when you start to shake the energy.
Mhm.
Right? Because it can be very, very intense. Like the first one, when I laid down, I literally, my mouth was open, slob was all down my face. You know, my face was in the ground, ants was crawling on me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I was stuck. I couldn't move.
Mhm.
But once I shook, it moved into another scene that was a little bit more calming, surreal. And it was like, okay, you know, but that first takeoff, you can't do anything. Yeah, you got to. And what happens is people will get up and move so that they can shake it off. But the stronger you are is where you just sit with it and you just allow it to come. Because that's the thing, surrender.
I was about to say, it's like you're resistant in a little bit.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
When
yeah.
and so you'll see the people getting up, walking around, having conversations and things like that. And then these conversations are really just tripping. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
But you have to surrender to the medicine and let the visions come. Yes, they're intense. Yes, they're coming fast. Yes, you're getting information. But the more you relax and just surrender to the medicine, you'll get everything you need to know. And that, see, I told you. Ayahuasca told me, because I was like, you're going too fast. Like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? And, oh, that's what she was telling me. She was teaching me how to move energy. She was basically teaching me how to move energy within people. And so at one point I was stuck. I was like, well, how do I do that? And she said to me, take a second cup and I'll tell you. I said, oh, shit. You see what I'm saying? So, like, she literally talks to you. And when I took my second cup, it was intense again. And I was like, hey, you got to slow down. And she literally was like, all right, I'll slow down. But whenever you need to know more, just come sit with me. You know what I'm saying? So she was like really inviting me to come back, to sit with her. You know what I mean? To break bread. So it's a beautiful thing.
Now, Campbell, I was wondering, because you were saying that it prejudices the lymphatic system. So the succession of medicines that you took, were they for a certain process? Were they complementary to the ayahuasca to help you have deeper connection with it?
So with the Yawanawa tribe, they do because the whole purpose is to clean your body,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Because ayahuasca is a cleanser.
Okay, that's
right?
what I was-
You can have more, we have DMT in our brain.
Yeah,
So if you
right.
meditate long enough, you will have the same,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But your body has to be clean. You
Yeah.
can't eat pork and meditate and think it's just not going to work. So they want to get you clean. So by the time you're in your third ayahuasca experience, you're so clean that you can actually, and they don't integrate. They do not integrate. So they basically send you home like, hey, see you later. You know what I mean? They don't
It'll help
integrate.
you, okay,
They don't
try to
integrate.
deal with, talk through your-
That's why I said, had I not known what I know and been able to integrate myself,
Yeah.
I would have been stone crazy. You know what I mean? I would have came back, packed my shit, and been like, I don't know what y'all doing, but I'm done. Because they don't integrate. They just give you the medicine, be like, bye. Right.
Be well.
Because they don't integrate.
Yeah.
And this is right. This is normal to them because this is their medicine. Like when you get into the village, like there's ayahuasca growing everywhere. And so not only are we taking ayahuasca, we're in the energy. We're in the energy of it. It's all over the place.
Living energy
Right.
of the plant is around you at all times. While
Right.
it's in you.
So they do the Cambo to kind of cleanse your body, and it like I said, it Cambo it passes the blood-brain barrier. So by the time you in ayahuasca, it's a deeper.
Shoots off.
Yeah, so if you
Something to prevent it to get you.
right.
Because we have our lymphatic system reaches all the way up. That's where they say Alzheimer's come from when you got too much mucus blocking.
He's the expert on that.
Yeah. Firing. So if
you do it so often?
So that's our, yeah. So that's our saying, Rapé is Bay. So Rapé is, it helps with inflammation. It helps decalcify the pineal gland. It helps with clarity, sinuses, allergies. It's very grounding. It grounds you. So we do Rapé 2-3 times a day, And I meant to bring my pipe. Did you bring your pipe?
And I can share because I did my first Rapé.
Because this wasn't that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like right before you left.
Mhm.
That first Rapé. So I'm back in school and stuff. I'm been in a 4-week math class, and I knew, like I said, even then when I knew because I had a little mental brain fog and stuff. So I knew already I was doing it. That's my class. The mental clarity, the grounding that I had afterwards, like I want to say, because that was my first time, it carried on for me for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even a strong dose, but then like weeks, I still felt that plant medicine carried.
Yeah.
But then it kept me grounded. The mental fog gone. Like I was so clear, like I'm already knowing what I need to do. I already know how to do these things, but the way my brain started just rapid fire processing and getting in it, man,
Because it decalcifies your pineal gland.
like even spiritual things, downloads coming in, already knowing. I already got a high sense of intuition and knowing, but it intensified it. And yeah, I had to have myself like slow down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slow down and process and just balance it out. But the calm, even right afterwards, the calmness that I had, I started chanting, and that's when I had the sound therapy. I was chanting. I'm gone.
I remember. Yeah.
After that second one, I said, if I'm gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
And what they say in the Amazon, like we say Rapé is Bay. In the Amazon, they say when you're hungry, do Rapé. When you're tired, do Rapé. When you're sleepy, do Rapé. When you're thirsty, do ayahuasca, right? When you're bored, do Rapé. Like you will see in the jungle, like the kids pass to each other, like the kids are doing Rapé, and when you go into ceremony, the babies are there. Like they bring out the little cribs and the babies is right there in the energy of the ayahuasca. The mama's doing ayahuasca, the pregnant women doing ayahuasca, everybody's doing ayahuasca and Rapé. So it's like it's normal. Like you would see somebody hitting a vape or smoking. Because it's different. Having a cup of coffee, having a snack, that's Rapé. It's an everyday, all day thing. Right? It's because it's a medicine. It's a medicine. And we do hold Rapé ceremonies here in the shop. I haven't had one lately because I've been traveling. But we do them here in the shop. On October 11th and 12th, I'll be doing a psilocybin retreat. It's called the Sacred Playground. And it's a 2-day retreat on my land. It's camping style. Food will be provided, obviously, for those 2 days. We'll do inner child play. We'll do bubbles. We'll do s'mores. We'll do a fire pit. Obviously, do the medicine, journal prompts, and then Ket is going to do Tai Chi to balance out the energy on that Sunday. I don't know if you knew you was doing Tai Chi, but now you know.
You just found out.
I know you know Tai Chi.
Is it October?
October 11th and 12th.
It's on this website, right?
Yes, it's on the website. Early bird is $444. After September 15th is $555, and we do payment plans. And it pays for the medicine, all of your meals, because it'll be breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And obviously your tents and showers and stuff, So that's what the energy exchange pays for. And if you want something more private, I also do, it's called the Sacred Pause. It's not on the website yet, where you'll come on a Thursday. Come in Thursday, we do a rapé ceremony. That Friday, you do a beautiful spiritual bath with psilocybin on that Friday. And then that Saturday, some journaling, some integration, cacao. And then that Sunday, you'll either do a massage or Reiki based on what you need. He will be doing a massage and a Reiki. Sorry, forgot, didn't tell you. He'll be doing a massage or the Reiki based on what your body needs. And then that Sunday, we may do a little bit of Tai Chi, and we do more integration, and then you go home. So it's called a Sacred Pause, just to get out of this 3D world and just pause for a second and get what you need, and then go back out. Right? So, does anybody have any questions?
Sure, we can contact you. Is it like social media and stuff?
I'm on social media on Instagram. It's Little Medicine Thing, or Barbara James Payne. Facebook is Barbara James Payne, and TikTok is Ashesh Tat. And you can find all the pictures and everything. Everything is there. And I didn't bring my pipe because this was not a rapé thing. He can get his. Yeah, go get your pipe. You know, for real.
But seriously though, because see, I came here today too, just because I knew was going and I wanted to be here. And my birthday's tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday, Big Leo.
Mine tomorrow.
I don't know why it's not.
I don't have it
Oh,
my phone's off.
Oh, gotcha. We do have internet.
I do have I found it.
I shifted to last month. Yeah, 50.
You can change.
Yeah.
My body feel it. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Do you you do like sit downs when you have like sessions or like
What do you mean?
like
You want to interview me?
yeah,
Let's go. Yeah, I would love that. So my goal is to really get our people together and remember, right? Because we are so powerful. Let me tell you, my 10-year-old, and this is how I know I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing. My 10-year-old, and I fought this. I fought it. Trust me, I fought it. I just opened up a school called My Way Tawadi. I just opened up a school where I go over spiritual herbalism and plant medicine. And at the end of the year of the school, we'll go to the DR. You'll get trained in Kambo and in Rapé. Yep. So that's my school, the first pathway. I'm already in my first pathway with my students now, but I don't have it live yet. But once it goes live, that will be the real pathway 1. I'm taking up to 5 students. And basically we start from herbs, remembering herbs and the spiritual doctrine of herbs, all the way to plant medicine. In the middle of that, we do self-alignment, because most of us are not even aligned with self. So you shouldn't even be practicing if you're not in alignment with self. And then you'll get a 3-hour astrological reading from my cohort. And she will tell you exactly how to live your life based on where your chart is. And it's a 12-month process. And then, like I said, at the end of 12 months, you go to the DR and you get trained in Kambo and in Rapé. And we may even serve ayahuasca. We haven't worked that out yet. And so it's $333 a month. And obviously that pays for your trip to go to the DR. Did you? Yes, that's my mentor right there. That's my girl.
I laid back. I'm about to cry now.
That's my teacher, my shaman, my mentor, my friend.
Because the guidance, I didn't even get to the second. I'm still.
Yeah.
I saw myself.
It's beautiful. It's
I cried
beautiful.
afterwards. I'm about to cry now because I'm like still remembering what they look like and still feeling their hands, the covering that I got.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we
And
are
feeling them
powerful, powerful,
very
and we don't know it, and that's why we live our lives the way that we do, right? As women, we're opening up our
Yes.
wombs to just bullshit, and as men, they're going into these women with ego. You know what I mean? It's this feminine, yeah, it's this feminine, masculine war, and it's like, yo, why? Like, why? We tribe. We are tribe, you know? So that is my goal, and that's why I want to take my students through this journey so they understand and remember who they are. Because when you know who you are, yo, you are unshakable. Unshakable. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing, and like I said, I will be holding more retreats, and my retreats are to really just get that deep healing. You know what I mean? So you're walking away prouder, blacker. You know what I'm saying? Stronger, wiser. You know what I mean? So that is my goal. That is my goal.
I can find it because you were talking about how I was given a vision a few years ago that I came, and it was a being there.
Mhm.
It's a being in the water. That is just water and the trees. I painted that vision that I was given, and that was it. There was no human forms.
And that's
Like,
how I know it was real.
yeah. So
Like,
when you were talking about that, I knew what you were talking about because I gotta find that painting because I painted that because that was it. There was nothing. There was no buildings, no houses. There was none of that. And like I said, it was not Earth.
Right.
Like we're not from.
It seems to be a common
Yeah.
sense of pattern here. It's
Yeah.
like it's a kind of like you see when they go into the ionosphere and they show you the top of Earth, but it's like the funnel. It's like a funnel.
so do you guys know what meteorites are made of?
Yeah.
Isn't it the material from the firmament?
A meteorite, when it comes down, right?
That's
We have
what I'm saying.
meteorites come down, basically stars,
Mhm.
right? When they come to Earth, like a shooting star, a falling star, and it comes to Earth. That's melanin.
Right. It's
I was.
We're literally pixie dust from the stars.
Dr. Layla Africa. Dr. Layla Africa. As a matter of fact, I made a song called Chemist because, and it's just basically the melanin that's in water. It's in everything. But
Yeah.
people try to make it else just
No.
be very space.
And honestly, if you're not blonde hair and blue eyed, you're mulatto. Like, you have melanin in you.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I said they are, I should say blonde, blue eyes, blonde fur, because it's actually fur.
Yeah.
Come on now, somebody.
See what I'm saying? So, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they
So
know.
I'm going to go ahead because he's going to get his pipe. I didn't bring my pipe. I should have, but this was not a. But
It wasn't that. This was for
yeah, so he's going to bring his pipe, and I will pass to whoever wants it. And I will say that when you pass rape, you're passing your essence. So if you've ever had rape and you felt icky or you got that nasty ass essence. Okay. Now, are you going to feel probably sick or whatever? Yes. But if somebody is not passing a beautiful aura, yeah, the medicine's not gonna. Yeah. Same thing when I put dots on people and they be like, damn, this shit is strong. Yeah, because I'm a warrior. That's what you getting. You getting that warrior energy. Yeah. So, if you're gonna get rape, I would suggest to wait to eat. And Ket lives literally right around the corner, so he'll be right back. But yeah, I would wait to eat. Unless you want to eat now, then I'll go ahead and put it out.
I mean, I feel better on plant medicine. I mean, we haven't had breakfast. Yeah, we haven't had breakfast.
Okay. Me neither. So I'm gonna pass to myself, and I don't do punk ass passes. I don't do punk ass passes. You don't get this medicine, okay? You know. Well, I didn't. I gave you a little bit that time, but I don't do punk ass passes. I don't do no punk ass passes.
That was my first time. Please go.
Well, it wasn't. If we did a ceremony, I would have given you a full dose, but we were just doing a sound bath, so yeah. But in my ceremonies, I give ceremonial doses. I don't. Yeah, you won't get this medicine. Yeah, go. Y'all can sit in your chairs. Yeah. Something said I wanted to be on the ground. So, Renee, am I off? Oh, I mean, if they're done. Hi, y'all.
I'm sorry.
I forgot we were streaming. Yeah, if they're are they still on there?
Yeah.
Do they have any questions?
Oh. Hold on. I need to refresh my screen.
Huh?
Yeah,
What?
I never did it for myself. It was always somebody else.
Yeah, somebody
pushed
pushed
it.
it.
So, yeah, that's-
So like you just got like.
No, so I'm gonna pass to you. So you've had it before.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
like
I'll
that.
pass to you.
It's just this comments. Right, no questions.
Yeah, I'll pass to you. This is my self-administer.
All right, Dr. J. Rafi at 5 p.m.
Huh?
It's more comments.
Okay.
Someone's here about J. Rafi at 5
Who is it?
I think it was Royal Butterfly. I don't know why I can't see it on this.
Rape all day. Rape is bae.
You wanna go ahead and cut it?
Yeah, if they're good, then I'll you cut it.
Well, let people know
Unless-
Toshiba.
Hey Toshiba. You know where to find me.
They can't hear me. They can hear
Oh. You know where to find me. Yes, you can find me at Sacred Roots, 908 Bacons Ridge Road, Somerville, South Carolina. You can hit me on Facebook at Barbara James Payne, or on Instagram, Barbara James Payne, and TikTok at Shashtat Sakemtat. Bye.
She said my little medicine.